North College Hills City Council Rules and Public Policy Committee. The agenda looks very much kind of like the last agenda did. So, I mean, I didn't really have, I wasn't able to access my email, so I apologize if anybody sent something to me that they wanted addressed. So I'm hoping we can kind of flesh that out in old business and new business. We had mentioned previously that I was kind of considering back to 1 hour meetings. And what do we think about that?
Per our minutes in the last meeting, I thought we said we were going to try to look at the next couple of months and see where that went and then readdress it again. I thought that's what I had in the minutes, but my PC is still booting up.
Okay. Well, let's do that then. Well,
So you're okay with that still?
I think so. I think that's a good idea because I like having that extra Monday just for other things. And if we really need to meet for an hour, we can always schedule an additional meeting. So I think we'll do that. So maybe
It gives us
April or
flexibility.
May. I'm sorry.
It gives us flexibility the way it is right now.
For sure. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's a good idea, especially because if you go to 1 hour meetings and you don't need it, then you are exhausting of time. But if you leave it the way that it is and use that extra Monday as, for those scheduling meetings as you need them, then you can always schedule early. Like some of the meetings go later, and then, like budget and finance or whatever, you can schedule as early as 6 and get out of here on those extra meeting days.
That makes a lot of sense. That's a good idea. Okay. All right. So I think I'm just writing down. We're going to reconsider that in April or May. So the Planning Commission. I did find several other people. I think that we have to have them appointed officially during a council meeting. Is that right?
I did have one other suggestion also. One other person reached out to me.
Okay.
So you have other people also?
Yeah, but if you have somebody, I'm happy. I mean, let's get everybody involved. We can get involved.
Okay.
So maybe we can just go with the names on the meeting on Monday, the council meeting this upcoming Monday. And my other hope was that we could have those meetings recorded. Would that be possible?
Absolutely. If you give me enough advance notice, I can make sure, or not make sure, I can request that ICRC attend.
Is there a day of the week that's better for them, for us, or?
May I defer to Mr. Bryan, who happens to be in the audience tonight?
Sure.
Which meetings?
So we're going to have, there's going to be a meeting for the Charter Commission review. So it'll be a whole new meeting on the schedule, and it'll only be for, I'll speculate, a couple months, because I think there's a 6-month deadline. So it's not like an ongoing perpetual meeting. It will be a time limit meeting.
I was thinking, because we have that deadline and I've lost kind of a month here, so through no fault of my own, for those of you who are wondering, but so I'm thinking maybe every 2 weeks for 3 or 4 months.
Any day but Tuesdays.
Any day but Tuesdays, okay.
Wednesday, Thursdays are fine.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
can I suggest the Mondays? Since they're already open and reserved for council, because that helps to coincide with Ms. Clear's calendar for this
Okay.
building, and then you don't have to
Mondays are fine too.
fuss and fight.
Okay.
And that helps them too.
absolutely. We can do Mondays, absolutely. Sounds good.
You on this committee? According to this, you are. So you're not?
Did I mess up? Because I thought
Actually,
that,
is
I
this
thought that she
rules?
was,
Are we in rules?
we are in rules. I thought that
Actually,
she-
it doesn't have Brandon's name. It has Victor and Brielle.
Yeah.
Brandon's not on rules.
Oh,
I'm just here because it's a more comfortable chair.
okay, but I think Mr. Wilson went, so right now, we don't have quorum then. Until,
Well, Victor's here. Victor was here.
but he's not
here right
now.
Oh, there he is. He's right there.
But he's not in here. He's not in the meeting.
Okay. Well, the rules say that we can still proceed with our meeting. We can't make decisions, but we can still proceed.
We can now that she's here.
Okay,
Yes, I will be on the committee.
it's okay. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe that first meeting, we can have it maybe that last Monday in February. Can we do that?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
you can do that, but I'm not sure now that you're back, if you remember that the actual Planning Commission wanted to do a joint meeting with you for the comprehensive plan and the 12 rules that they, well, not rules, but like
Accommodations.
additions, accommodations that they added. So you can juggle it between either adding that or your first meeting. I don't know what you want to do, but that's also on your to-do list.
Okay. Actually,
agenda.
is that's on the agenda too, right?
Oh,
Yes,
sorry,
it
I
is
don't
on
have
the
an
agenda.
Oh, I was talking about it out of order. Okay. Okay, so what do we want to do with that? When
So
when
did
do you want to
jump?
meet?
Where are we?
Okay, so I was talking about the Charter Review Commission.
Yes.
But that's actually number 4.
Yes.
The Planning Commission is number 3. So what do you guys want to do with regard to meeting with them?
Have you connected with them at all, or would you like me to do that to try to set up a time?
I
As
just
your
want to
vice
know.
chair, I can
Right.
try to navigate that if,
Yeah, I just want to know what's good for you guys, because I don't want to necessarily meet with them by myself, but I was hoping all of us would.
Madam Chair,
and I
that's
think
good.
that's what their goal is. I think their intention is to meet with the
Okay.
committee.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
it is their intention. I sit on that committee. So I've kind of been, communicating what their hopes are.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready to add something on the calendar, they were going to try to accommodate Mondays for council purposes. So whenever you're ready, just let me know, and then I can go back to them. They meet every third, either Wednesday or Thursday of the month.
So do we want to try to do that in
coming up.
February or March?
I'm feeling as if they were trying to put some level of urgency to that, so I think.
Bless you.
Bless you. I think we should aim for February if we can.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So what if is there like a length of time that we think that meeting is going to last?
I think,
I'd say an hour and a half, 2 hours, if I had to guess. I mean, I think they had 10 or 11 items on their recommendation list, didn't they? They had quite a few.
Right.
Yeah,
it was,
Madam Chair.
Yes,
I have the recommendation.
I have them too.
I mean, I'm just saying. I think it was
We
only
all
about
have
7.
them.
Yeah, but
It's a bunch, but I just wanted to know, first, we all have to agree on a good time for all of us. So I'm just trying to figure out what's a good time for all of us.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
perhaps we ask them to prioritize their list
okay,
and then set it up for an hour and a half
okay,
with a list prioritized and address it that way.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
they're just waiting on me to email them back. So I'll email actually right now so that I don't forget.
Okay, so that sounds like a good plan to me. So can we ask them to prioritize their list? And then we'll schedule something for an hour and a half. So how is 6:30 on
24th?
yep, the 24th?
Okay. As I'm looking at this email communication, they said they were hoping for a meeting of the whole, but they wanted it to be channeled through your committee because that's where the list is. So,
They want to meet with all of council?
yep.
So we can talk about it at the next
Send that to the mayor.
council meeting.
He
Okay.
attached me to it.
So
Okay, well, let's do that.
While I'm getting.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm still reading. They would prefer to have a meeting of the whole, but if they could just at least get time through your committee, that would be good.
Okay, so I will certainly ask that that be added to the agenda for the meeting, the next council meeting, which is, I believe, February 18th. Is that right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'll ask that it be added to the agenda for February 18th, and we can figure out how we can do that. In the meantime, I can't access my email. Can anyone access the calendar for this building?
Mondays are always reserved for council. Are you looking for another day for the,
Charter review.
okay. If I could add just a piece of information for the Planning Commission, I think that if you all could, because if you're asking yourselves like how much time for a council meeting, that's a pretty heavy thing to put on the agenda.
No. On the agenda, I was just going to put that we can pull all our calendars out together.
Oh, okay,
And
thank you,
schedule the
sorry.
meeting with them, not actually meet with them on a night that we have a council meeting already.
Okay, and I'm pulling up the calendar. Okay.
Is there a Tuesday or a Wednesday? No, I'm sorry. Did you say Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's fine.
A Tuesday, you know what, but Mr. Dieters has another meeting he attends on Tuesdays, I believe. So is there a Wednesday or a Thursday available in the next couple of weeks?
Either March 6th or
I
12th.
think they said we was trying to get it done in.
I
this
wanted to
month.
try to have the first meeting in
Yeah,
February.
We're trying to do one in February.
No,
Well, I think would you say Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, either Wednesday or Thursday.
think you may have some availability on the 26th.
The 26th at what time?
That's a Wednesday.
It looks like it's open for the evening.
Oh, okay, so, I'm thinking 6:30 might be a good time to start that. Ms. Curitan, I know that you're on a part of that. Is that a good time for you?
Actually, thank you for asking. We were wondering, I would like for you to maybe survey everyone who's going to be on the charter review committee. That way we can have a consensus and we won't have to change it in the future. Is that something that can happen?
Yeah, I just wanted to get the first meeting just kind of scheduled, and then we can figure out with our calendars from there. So if somebody can't be there on the 26th, then we'll,
Tentative date, February 26th.
February 26th.
Do you have a time?
That's what I was asking you, is 6:30 okay?
As of today, that's open, but it can change at any moment. But for right now, I will lock it in at 6:30.
Okay, 6:30. Can we reserve that, Ms. Dukestein?
Yes. I'm gonna send a note to Ms. Clear, as she handles our
Okay,
scheduling for the building. And I'll copy you on it.
thank you very much. 6:30. Okay,
Now that is for
charter review.
charter review.
And we'll figure out with everybody's calendars from there. Okay. Then if the planning commission is available on the 24th, we can, I'm certainly happy to meet with them on the 24th. Okay. Okay. Any other old business? I feel like the digitizing of our records, that company was in this committee. Did we decide that we were going to go with one committee or another? You're smiling.
We did talk about that at our last meeting, and you were to follow up with Mr. Dieters to have legislation written.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. It's been a long few weeks
I
for me.
understand, and I'm giving you grace. I'm sorry. That's why.
If you give me just a second, I will circle back to that and put an email for Mr. Dieters to the legislation on there. Just because if you get it out and just get that, he can respond back and forth to you. But that kind of helps get it going.
What was the name of the company?
I want to say Iron Mountain.
Okay.
So, William. Okay. And the legislation needs to say what?
That we're contracting with them
Authorizing permission. to
or
enter into a
authorizing, yeah.
Contract.
To digitize all of our records.
Okay, got it.
Thank you very much. Is there any other old business? Okay, is there any new business? Anything that I might have missed?
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
there's been a records request for minutes and agendas dating back to 2021 from each committee.
Okay,
And I just want to make sure Christian Hedger's trying to collect that you all are able to get him what you need. And it's across all 4 committees.
okay.
Could you repeat the dates on that?
2021, 22, 23, and 24. All the way up to current.
Okay,
Some of the stuff is on the website. He will be able to retrieve, but I think the best thing to do is to look on the website, see what's there, and then give him whatever isn't.
okay, I can take care of that.
You said minutes and agendas?
Yes. And it may be that you were not the committee chair.
I
for
think I
some of
was,
them. Okay.
at least for these 2 committees.
I know Ms. Dewald had it for a little bit, right?
She had safety for a minute.
Yeah. Okay. When did that public records request come in, Ms. Tuxteen?
You've got came in about, for sure, 2 weeks ago. Maybe not quite 2 weeks, it'll be 2 weeks this Friday. So you've got about, is that 8 weeks, 6 more weeks?
I won't take that long, but I'm just trying to write a deadline. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I was probably your vice chair for some of that time. If you need me to look through any of my records, please let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Very
I know that we would email minutes to each other, and so I have them. It's just that we never went back through because I think there's an extra step that's required by the rules, and we don't always do that, but I would like to. So I'm going to send everybody what I have everybody look it over, and then we'll approve it, and then I'll forward them to Mr. Hedger. I think that's how we're supposed to do that. Unless somebody knows something I don't.
No, you're spot on.
Alrighty. Okay. Anything else? New business wise?
As a matter of fact, I was looking through through the minutes that I have for the last meeting, and I think we have covered everything with one exception, and that was, and actually I talked to Mr. Dye before this meeting again. We are still trying to work through any potential rearrangements for this room. So
Okay.
we're going to talk about that further, and it's tough to meet all the
Yeah,
requirements that are requested.
right. I understand that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So. Okay. Any other old business, new business? Okay, well, it would appear that we are complete. I have my action items that I need to follow up on. And,
Madam Chair,
yes,
I'm sorry, I just wanted to recap so I make sure that I got everything. I sent an email to Ms. Clear for the scheduling of the initial charter review meeting on 2/26 at 6:30. I sent a email to the Planning Commission to do a meeting of the whole on 2/24 at 6:30. And you're going to talk about that in the council meeting. And then I sent an email to Mr. Dieters for Iron Mountain to draw up legislation on digitizing council notes.
Well,
All of council records.
yeah, minutes, agendas, legislation, everything.
There is a quote. Mr. Hedger got a quote.
Right.
Okay.
I
I'll
just-
add Mr. Hedger to that. So
Okay.
that, if there's any clarity, so you'll see it twice, I'm just gonna say adding Mr. Hedger.
Okay, that's fine. I do have just one last thing. You'll hear me say this multiple times, I'm sure, but I really do want to thank you all for the flowers and the cards. I am still kind of, it is unreal to me, but thank you so much for your kindness, because this is very difficult to deal with. So, thank you very much. Okay, so it is 6:27, and the Rules and Public Policy meeting is officially adjourned. I see that we have the police chief with us. Thank you, Chief Cheney, for being here. Do you have an update for us?
Just a little bit. It's been a little busy, so I didn't get to pull my normal stats for January, but I did look because I put out, we were doing a red light blitz for the month of February. And so far, first 9 days of the year, we've written 58 total citations. I'm not sure exact the breakdown, but 58 total citations for the first 9 days of the month. So they're off to a really fast pace. And as you've seen probably the last 2 weeks, OSP has been here doing some blitzes too with us and some traffic enforcement as well. So we are almost done with our renovation of the police department that we started. So when that's done, I'll let you guys know and you can come and see what we've done. It looks a lot better. And as far as that, the rest of the things I have will be in Park and Rec meeting for the fireworks show that Mr. Wilson asked us to put together for him.
Okay. And is there anything that you guys need? You guys okay?
Yeah, as of right now, we're good. No complaints. We're down 4. We did lose an officer to Loveland, but thankfully I could say that process was started under the prior administration, I'll say. And then she met with me and she said it was a hard decision. And I even actually talked to the other chief, and that chief said it was a really hard decision for the officer to decide to leave, but I understood. I mean, you have to do what you think is best for you and your family. So we're currently down 4. Obviously, 2 of those positions are being held up. I can't really hire for those until we have outcome with the other situation, but we'll get there. We've got some prospects in the pipeline that we're looking at, and things are looking up for us. So no complaints.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
may I ask a question?
yes.
I was just curious, did you guys invite OSP or are they
It's just a
doing it on their own?
standing relationship. I go.
So it's not like you guys reached out to them, they just kind of,
They can come.
on.
I've invited them in the past, and I told them doors open. Anytime you want to come down and do enforcement, they come. I talk to them. They're at our chiefs meetings.
I'm not knocking it. I was just
No, we have a
curious.
good working relationship with them, and at some point, hopefully, we'll have a OVI checkpoint at some point this year in the city. We just got to work out the specifics with the OVI task force. So,
Sounds good. Thank you.
yep.
Does anybody else have any questions? So I don't have any information about the fire department or public works. I was going to ask Ms. Dukestein. Hopefully she'll be back, but I'll ask her. Mr. Davis.
Madam Chair, I got we got an activity report from the fire department. You want me to read it off for you?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. All right, January activity report from Chief Plackey. So, January fire EMS breakdowns, there were 209 incidents. 79.4% were those were EMS calls. Let's see. And personnel-wise, new full-time personnel of a corps have officially started. Apparatus maintenance, routine preventative maintenance is ongoing to assure operational readiness. And the new LifePak 35 cardiac monitors have been delivered and projected to be in service by the end of February. New fire engine is in service and responding to calls. Planning for the first smoke detector blitz is in the beginning stages. And the fire department has compiled a committee to work on various levy renewal items. That's from the activity report from Chief Black.
I'm sorry, Mr. Davis, could you read that last one again?
The fire department has compiled a committee to work on various levy renewal items.
Thank you.
Ms. Dukestein, is there, with regard to the fire levy, there's like 2 things that we need to do, is that right?
There are 3 pieces of legislation. I'm working on the initial one. We'll pass that through. Our date to have everything submitted is August the 6th. We're pretty on track with our timeline. Hopefully we'll get finished by July or the beginning of July, where I'm working on it.
Okay,
I'll have it to you soon.
okay, wonderful. All right.
Everything is urgent.
What about just some kind of literature?
I also sent Chief Plackey. We're talking back and forth about the literature. He's working on it. He's wanting to recreate something, so it's taking him a little bit to kind of dig into what he wants to say. We were discussing some numbers that were on there, and we've gotten to a good mutual place with that. It's not anything in regard to spending. It's just how the fire department will allocate those funds. It was on a 1-sheeter. We've talked about timing. We're going to post it to the website. We're going to post it to our official web Facebook page and all of our social media mediums. And then we're going to send out and distribute through the community. We're going to put it in a newsletter. So you'll be seeing some up and coming advertisement for our fire levy as soon as the next newsletter. And then we'll have a date for the distribution of the initial flyer to go out to people's homes. So we're definitely talking about it and getting it together.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions about that?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
what is the date for the mayor's newsletter to be sent out? When should we expect that?
March.
Okay.
Yes. The deadline for the submissions is, I think, the 26th or the 28th. And then they compile it and get it ready for print in March.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the fire department from anybody? Thank you very much, Mr. Davis, because of course I don't have access to my email. Do we have a Public Works update?
For the Public Works Director, is that what you're asking about?
No, just with the department.
They are hard, fast at, I'm looking at resumes today. I just got a bunch of selections today from the various places that it's posted. I'm hoping to schedule some this week in terms of the Public Works Director. They are getting ready for the next snowstorm and trying to clean up from our last one. I don't know if you all have looked around the community. I talked to them about the underpass. It's just been lots and lots of trash. People were walking in various places just trying to avoid the sidewalks. It's real easy to throw bags of chips or whatever. So they're doing their due diligence there. They are also working very diligently to fill the potholes because we have a tremendous amount of potholes as a result of the concentrated salt on the blacktop. So they're getting what they can in there. They're also working with the street projects because we have Galbraith Road starting back up. We have Oak Knoll starting. And so they're doing that work. They are quite busy right now. So honestly, I did not talk to Mr. Reuter today, but I do know from just us being in constant communication that their workload is pretty heavy right now.
Okay. And the Oak Knoll project, do we know
It
when
started,
that one's gonna start?
Today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know
So
that
today-
street is particularly terrible.
And they're even though it started today, they're just doing some
The sewer line started today?
they're kind of like measuring out to start that we're going to put a 72-hour notice when they actually shut down the sewer line to the residents, and we haven't gotten that yet. The JMA is keeping me updated. I haven't gotten that notice yet, but I will put those things out for the residents and any inconveniences that they may have. I know that they'll have 20-minute sections here and there throughout the time frame, but there's one big block of like 8 hours when they will be out of water, and so we want to definitely let them know.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions based on the questions or the information provided by Ms. Dukestein? Okay. Is there any old business?
Do you accept questions from the audience in your committee?
I do.
And that's it from here, I think.
Kathy Curitan, Devonwood Drive. I'm not sure who can answer this, but I think we have the key players in the room. Can we have a status update on generators for the city? We had 3 outages, our police and our fire and residents. So residents are not as much as important as our police and fire. So we can have an ETA on that. Ms. Dukestein, I think there was commentary stating that you have given them the authority to execute that purchase. I'm just wondering when that's going to happen, pending the next snowstorm. Thanks.
So the authority with the approval for generators to be purchased has been given. There is a lot of research to make sure that we are purchasing the right generator, and then there is police and fire are housed in one building, so there's the question of putting them on 2 separate generators or one whole for the entire building. Chief Cheney is working diligently. He's also helping me with choosing a generator for this senior center. I do know that one of the issues with this particular one is that the electricity wattage running through this building and the wiring is very, it wasn't built to like run off of a powerful generator. So we have to find one with low wattage to be able to support the electrical work wiring through here. They're having different issues. So it is a priority. No one has been slumber at trying to get it, but what we get, we need to get the right thing. And so we're taking our time and making sure, because it is an investment that will last us for a really long time. And they're also super costly. So we're trying to make sure we have the right generator for the potential things that would cause us to have to use it, and decipher whether or not it should be split between fire and police or on one. And I'll let Cheney pick up because he's helped me tremendously with that.
So I've talked to Chief Plackey, and the fire and police actually did a preliminary inspection of the facility back in 2022. Excuse me. It's quite expensive because the building is from, our portion of the building's from 1931. So when they built the addition in the fire department, there is a second line that then comes in to that side where the fire bays are. And then we have our line coming in, so thus 2 generators. The initial cost on that was roughly about $326,000. Yeah, it's because the problem with our building being so old, their recommendation at the time was to replace the breaker panels because they don't know if the breaker panels because they're just older, if they can withstand a generator and the kicking on and running everything that we need to run. So part of my plan is obviously to get some updated things, plus maybe work with the state, get with our state representative, see what kind of state money is out there for infrastructure with us and see if he can help with that, because we all know the city is limited. We can't just magically make, from 22 numbers, 336,000. If we're talking probably today's numbers, we're probably close to 500,000 because of the cost of how everything has gone up. So it's going to be an expensive project.
Thank you. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. But you mentioned a key word in that, and that word was infrastructure. And I know that the city got money recently to go specifically for infrastructure projects for the city of North College Hill. ARPA. The city got ARPA money that they needed to absorb by December 31st. Your situation, sir, is an emergent situation. For you all not to be able to service the citizens of North College Hill, not once, not twice, but 3 times in less than 1 year. Imagine. And then you all didn't have any heat. And no lights, like the things that we sometimes take for granted. So I'm just wondering, no pressure, but I would like to, I don't know if I'll even get a response to this, but the city had ARPA funds. Your situation is emergent. And that was government money that needed to be absorbed by December 31st. We had it. So I don't know. We had it in our pocket. We had access to it. Don't know what happened to it, but okay.
So on that aspect, I can't answer that because I didn't know that there was ARPA money for. I knew we had ARPA money, but ours is different. It's for salaries. But what the city had for additional ARPA, I was not aware of. Now I can say that the city has stepped up in some of the ARPA money that we badly needed, our roof and back door and some other repairs to be done. Some of that ARPA money was forwarded into or used to help do some of the stuff at the police department. So it was used for us. It just, I don't know how much the ARPA money was. I don't know if it would even be enough to fix this problem. Yep.
I'd like to comment on that, Madam Chair, if you can.
Yeah, what I will say is that we are aware of the generator issue, and we are working with administration to make sure that this is addressed. So, we made sure the roof was addressed. We made sure the other issues were addressed. We will make sure that our public safety folks, that means police, fire, and public works, have what they need to do their jobs.
Absolutely. It is definitely a priority to make sure that we have generators. ARPA funds are not isolated to that specific issue. However, we will do what we need to do to make sure that they have generators. It's not a financial burden alone. He mentioned the cost, and he's just pretty savvy along with me at trying to save money. So we're trying to make sure that we choose the best route and that there are still other funds out there specifically for things like this that we can access. So we wouldn't have wanted to use ARPA funds when we know that we have help in other spaces. So we would want to leverage that first and then use ARPA funds where there aren't any other available resources to do that. So just trying to manage what to leverage when is what we've been doing. So it takes some research. Primarily, this has been kind of slow walking just to try to understand what we need to do in terms of getting the appropriate generator for the buildings that we have, not necessarily the money alone.
One of the things we did look at years ago is trying to tie the building into the school's generator, and we found out that was not feasible. And plus, when we had the big windstorm, I don't know when that was in the fall, forgive me, I don't know the date, but when most of the city was out for days, we tried to use the school as a center for people to go, and the generator ran very little in the school, so it wasn't even going to be functional to even tie in at that point. After that, we were like, well, I don't even know why we ever looked at it, but that was something we looked at a while ago, is to try to tie in with that. But
I know that a generator can be a tricky thing, especially when you want to make it available for people to go and charge their phones and,
yeah,
just, citizens who don't have access to be able to charge their phones and other devices that they may need when there's like an extended period without power. So I just, I am mindful, and I appreciate the fact that you all are doing the research necessary to make sure, because it doesn't do us any good to buy something that's not going to work properly.
And
So-
Madam Chair, I'd like to add to that. It is research intensive. We need to make sure we, like the EMTs, they have new equipment coming. It's not even here yet, but we know that that is to come. We have, not EMT, EMS, they have, so I just wanted to make sure that you know that we're also researching to make sure that whatever we do purchase will support what we futuristically have, not just for the moment. You have to buy forward. So it's going to take a little bit of forethought to get to the right place with it. So I just don't want you all to walk away with thinking that it's a money issue. It's not that.
I'm aware of
We want to be
the research.
We want to be savvy, but we want to get the right product.
I think it's something also we need to talk to Duke about and work with Duke, because these problems seem like they are starting to creep up in our city more frequently, where prior, I mean, I've been here for 9 years, we haven't had these kind of issues in the past. So now it seems like it's becoming more and more of an issue. So, I mean, we had very little accumulation of ice the other day, and power went out in the city for a couple hours. It made, so.
Well, I think it's a part of that is the power grid. It wasn't
Yeah.
the entire city that was out, but I noticed that there were portions of the city that were, and I just really think that a part of that is the power grid. That's nothing that we're going to be able to.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's something
No, that's
maybe
bigger,
with Duke
right, that's bigger
to
than us,
figure out
but
something as
I
well.
just want to make sure that the police, fire, and public works, if something else happens to where everybody's power goes off, that you guys can still respond to emergencies, and that you guys are okay in your buildings.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, so is there any other old business or new business that anybody has?
Madam Chair, I got a question from Chief Cheney real quick. I thought about you mentioned that you have a prior working relationship with OSP and the Highway Patrol.
Yes, sir.
Now, do y'all have a similar working relationship or something like that with ICE?
With ICE,
Yes.
I mean, we have working relationships with all federal authority agencies, but ICE is not something that we generally see. You're going to see ICE or Homeland Security more in this area, FBI, DEA, ATF. I could tell you from being at the Chiefs meeting last week that a lot of the reports that are out in the media of what they're saying ICE is doing, ICE is categorically not doing that. There's a lot of false information out there. So,
Only thing I'm going to ask, federal mandates need to come with federal funds. When we ask y'all to do something, it gets reflected in the budget. If there's not going to be federal funding, please don't enforce these federal mandates. That's all. That's a question, not a demand. And I'm saying that I'm not saying that as Brandon City Council person. I'm saying that Brandon, guy who lives on Simpson, who probably needs to throw some rocks out down. I'm saying it as a neighbor.
That one's gonna be, I think, too much for us to chew on today, so.
It was just
Yeah.
say it. All right.
Okay, so any other old business? New business? Okay, so if all hearts and minds are clear, I am officially adjourning this meeting. It is 6:55 PM. Thank you very much.
Today's agenda that I created was strictly to meet with the Rec Commission. I definitely wanted to talk with this commission and see what things that we can do to assist them moving forward from here. So please hold all questions to the end. I will address audience questions then, and we'll go from there. So I would like to start by, if the commission is in the building, could you stand? All right, if you could please, you guys come on, just come on up so we can have a conversation with you guys. Thank you. Yes, at any chair, if you can find a microphone. Appreciate it.
Musical chairs.
Good evening. First, we want to start out, would like each one of you guys to introduce yourselves and your role on the commission.
I am Charlene Meyer. I am a volunteer on the Recreation Commission. I have lived in North College Hill my whole life. I work for the elementary school. I'm an instructional aide, and I teach reading, math, and I've been in that position for 28 years.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
I think most of you all already know me, but Recreation Commission, by virtue of the fact that Charter Section 10.03 lists the Recreation Director as a member ex officio, which means I'm automatically on the Rec Commission. So, but I have enjoyed working with these ladies. It's been a while, but it's been fun, so.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Stewart. I am a member via North College Hill City Schools. I am the district social worker, a former administrator, and the head truancy officer for North College Hill City Schools for all of the buildings. Also a resident in North College Hill, as well as a business owner in North College Hill.
Well, thank you. All right. So from here, we got a couple of questions. This is the committee. I would like the committee to go around and introduce yourselves to the Rec Commission, starting on my left with Mary Jo.
May I ask a question first?
Yes.
Is this all the members of the Recreation Commission?
No, it is not.
May I ask who else is?
Miss Carla Belcher was appointed to the Recreation Commission, but she was unable to attend this evening.
Okay, and then that completes your,
There is actually one more seat that is open. We've had a person in that seat, but they were unable to continue due to personal reasons. So
there's
that
one
there is an
open.
open seat. Now, the way that the charter is written is, I think it's either 2 or 3 are appointed by the mayor, 2 or 3 are appointed by the superintendent of schools. I'm not 100% sure which opening is in the mayor's purview or the superintendent's purview. I think my last Recreation Commission report specified where the opening was, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Thank you so much. And so, hi, I am Mary Jo Zorb, and I also am a lifetime resident, and I am here trying to do what's right. Thank you.
I'm Brielle Gaston, and I've lived in North College Hill for about, I want to say maybe 15, 20 years now. So I'm happy to be here and good to meet you guys. My daughter danced with you for a year. Yeah, on and off, so.
Mashallah Alexander, North College Hill resident for about 20 years. Heavily involved in the school, athletic booster. I volunteer whenever I can. And I'm glad that you all are here. And I would like, I know you all introduced yourselves, but what is your function in the Recreation Commission? I wasn't aware that there was one that even existed. And so I would like to know, and it could be after we finish introducing, what exactly you all do and how can we help?
I'm Victor Wilson, founder CEO of Unlimited Youth Services. I've been in Cincinnati all my life. I've been a part of North College Hill actually all my life. Became a homeowner in North College Hill 2 years ago.
Nay, Brandon Davis, the guy at the end. I've been a resident of North College Hill for 6 years. My son and daughter graduated from North College Hill, so I've had a couple sternly worded emails from Miss Stewart from times where my baby might have been somewhere she wasn't supposed to be. But
It's a village.
Thank you. Hey, thank you for your help. And we're here to see how we can come together and build better recreation options for all of us that live, work, and play here. That's our goal.
As for our positions in the Recreation Commission, we are just volunteers. We have met about the splash pad, talked about different opportunities for the kids. Basically, that's it.
So, sorry, I didn't realize it was my turn. Recreation Director, I'm a member of the commission, obviously, because I can, if anything requires administration to go forward, or, for example, she mentioned splash pad. So what we did was we gathered a bunch of information in terms of, like, for example, whether they were staffed or not staffed. I'll just say that. We actually compiled a report. We reviewed the report, and I helped gather some of the data that went into the report, and we present that to council. So typically, we're an advisory committee or a commission essentially. So it's similar in function to like Planning Commission, where they look at zoning, they look at ordinances in terms of land use, and they make recommendations to council. So that's typically the function of the Recreation Commission.
Go ahead. You
Chair?
got any more? Yeah.
Do you have dates on the calendar that you meet, or is it just ad hoc?
The last time we met was in November of 2023. And the reason for that, we did meet fairly regularly prior to that, but we had reached a point where, for a lot of reasons, it was very difficult to get the group together to meet on a regular basis. Plus, the city was going through a lot of transitional activity at that time. Right around a year ago, we were moving out of the other building, moving over here. We had renovations going on over here. So there really wasn't a lot and I mentioned this in my December budget update to the council, that there was a lot going on that precluded the ability to move forward with a lot of recreational initiatives. So a lot of that was put on hold. So we really have not met until since November of 2023.
So going forward, I mean, I know things are still going on. Going forward, will you be organizing any type of meetings? I'm interested in attending. That's why I'm asking.
Well, that really all depends. I mean, technically, according to the charter, I'm not in charge of organizing the meetings, but we were trying to get ourselves together and getting it organized and getting us moving forward. But it really all depends on when the volunteers can get together. We don't have a regular set date and time like Planning Commission. that's not to say we can't. It's just a matter of getting people together, especially volunteers. We need to have an agenda. We need to have projects. We need to have something that's going to be something for us to be working on constructively when we meet. And that is, I guess, up to council or administration. If you need the commission to review anything, I'm sure we can get ourselves on the calendar and review it. We can get that together. It just, like I said, the last year has kind of been an upheaval in terms of everyone's availability, and myself included. But my role in the charter is not to organize everybody, but I was helping in that role previously to try to help us get reestablished.
I'm not trying to
Go ahead.
take over or anything like that.
Go ahead.
Events that you might have been a part of in the past, I remember, and I'm not sure this because this was before, I don't know if council had anything to do with it, like Easter egg hunts. I remember that used to be at the school. Is that something that used to be organized by the Recreation Commission, or?
It was in the past. I've been on for probably about 11 years. And in the past, when Mr. Moore was doing recreation, we did the Easter egg hunt, we did trunk or treat, we did breakfast with Santa. Those are the activities that we would organize every year.
Okay, is that something that we want to continue, and what would you need for us to do in order to keep that going, or even add more events? Or are you interested in more events? Because sometimes it's a little more than, a small committee can handle.
I mean, personally, I would say more events, just, kind of being the ears inside the school, listening to what some of the students are saying and what some of their parents are saying is they wish that there were more recreational activities. Mm-hmm. They wish that there were more outlets for kids, and that they were actually things that the kids were interested in, not the things that we're interested in providing to them, because what interests us does not interest them.
Absolutely.
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 If I may, to that end, just today, as a matter of fact, I just got into an agreement with an esports organization that offers tournaments for video game play, and that will be amazing. I hope the kids are happy about that, but that was just today that we got that nailed down.
Hey, sign my son up.
Matt,
I do have a question, Mr. Chair.
I will hit Ms. Dustin first.
Go ahead, she can go. I can remember.
Okay. Then. All right, so go ahead, Ms. Gaskins. I apologize. That's in order.
No, it's okay. So I remember, I wrote it down. So the Home Alone and babysitting class, there are a couple of girls on my street who do babysitting, or they like to sit and read with my younger kids. And I thought that was really cool to kind of have like a first aid CPR class for young girls and guys who want to babysit and volunteer to do things. Would that be something that we could do? Okay. That's really cool.
For the benefit of the people listening, yes, we can. And I know a couple of organizations that can do that.
Okay, that's awesome. Cool. Yes. I do agree with, surveying the kiddos to see what it is that they are interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something, I'm sorry, I had to jump
No,
in.
go
Ms.
ahead.
Dukes Dean, no,
Yeah,
you were next. Go.
One is, I wanted to let you know that I did email Mr. Blaylock along with Mayor Nichols, and I added you two on there to ask the extra seat that's not filled, who's responsible for appointing, and I can forward to you all so we can get the committee fully staffed. The other thing that I would like to say from a city perspective, administratively, I would love to see us work together as we become a liaison for the school to the community, and you all become a liaison for the city to the school kids. There are activities that are existing that we could use the support for both ways. Unfortunately, and I say that because my oldest graduated from NCH, and I love NCH, but my younger two are no longer in the district, but they would benefit from some of the things that the school district offers. Like Mr. Blaylock will still send my son when the school is doing college stuff He often attends the games. We sit at a lot of NCH basketball games because his friends play basketball and we want to support his friends. So we don't stop coming and participating in NCH City School District things just because we're no longer in district. And so to stay connected to those, I'm saying that to say there are communities, there are people who are in the community who do not go to the district, who still want to support and participate in the district. So that's a city connection that we can have, and vice versa. There are kids who go to the school, but then they go to other cities to do different things that you know, they could do right here in NCH. So I look forward to that kind of collaboration. If we can, you know, kind of match up calendars and help out with advertising and things like that, that is my interest.
Mr. Chair,
You done?
I got one more thing.
And go ahead.
How do you all, since you all are in school with the children, how do you all, what kind of ideas do you have to get their input? Because you kind of have to catch them right there, you know, putting it on a piece of paper, it's going to go in book bag on the floor. You got any ideas on how we can get that input from the kids? I don't know if maybe like during homeroom, and I don't know how much input you all have, maybe they can pass out something right then and there, a little, you know, your top 3 ideas, and then maybe the homeroom teacher collects it right then and there, because I know it's just that instant, you got to catch them right there. Do you guys have any ideas on how to get that idea from the children?
I mean, in my case, it's just conversation, not even an official form.
Okay.
One of my other roles is I'm the varsity cheer coach, and kids will tell you what they want.
Yeah.
It doesn't even, I mean, it doesn't really have to be anything formal. And for most of our kids, I would say, actually, majority of our kids, regardless of what they want, the older kids are going to bring their little siblings with them because that's who they're responsible for.
You know, I know that.
So if we say we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and the big kids come, the little kids are going to come. Because it's going to be what interests them, because it interests their older sibling, and the older sibling is responsible for them.
Sounds good.
That's really good.
So, Ms. Gaskins, I'm sorry, Ms. Zorb, it got out of control, but I'm grabbing it back now. So we're going to finish with you. Are you done with any questions for the committee?
I am.
Okay, so, well, Ms. Gaskins, you're next.
No,
No questions?
no questions.
Okay. Well, I already know. So, I don't have any questions, but I do, as the chair, have a couple of suggestions that the committee has been working on. I mean, we had, since I actually sat down back in June of 2024, it's been a lot of conversation of some of the different activities and stuff that we would like to see go on here in North College Hill. One of our biggest conversations has been the sports league for North College Hill. My ideal about that program is that we'll keep our residents here in North College Hill. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for anybody. Listen, I don't think it's a great idea that our youth and our adults have to leave our community for the basic things that we should be able to provide here. So it's real big. It's one of them things that's on my plate and my agenda to accomplish, because, like I said, I would rather, my residents wake up and be able to say, hey, I got a whole day planned right here in North College Hill. So I'm not gonna say I don't. That's not my goal, because that is my goal, to make sure that we stay here. I'm sorry.
I have questions. I'm sorry. One is, if I may ask the Recreation Commission, what kind of lost the zealousness about meeting? Was it just COVID? And are you wanting to stay committed on the committee, or are you tired, or do you want a replacement? Because sometimes people stay because there's nobody to do the work, so people stay committed, and then they are tired. because, and I'm not trying to kick you off, or I don't have that power or whatever, but I'm just saying I'd like to hear from you, like what happened. I know a lot of things shut down and just went haywire after COVID, just because we weren't able to like reach out and touch in the same ways. And maybe this is just a revitalization and a coming back after that. And then the other thing is, I definitely agree. Like, both my kids play sports and do activities outside of NCH, just because they don't have available, like my daughter plays competitive tennis. It would be super nice if we could like host a tournament or bring even just tennis here in some capacity. And I'm not complaining about what we existingly have. I'm just trying to bring ideas to the table to say, hey, kids have other interests in the mainframe sports. And if we can kind of outsource some of bring those things in-house, maybe we're not ready, but just food for thought, because we travel out to do those things.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Ms. Claire.
Just to address the first part, I wasn't actually hired into this role until after COVID, so I was hired in 2022. And part of my task was to try to get this up and running again, and for almost 2 years, we gave it a good try to get the Recreation Commission, and like Ms. Meyer said, we did do quite a bit of work in that interim period. I also did want to mention, in terms of sports, North Hills Baseball Association is associated with Knothole College Hill, and they have been serving the North College Hill area and College Hill area with their baseball program since 1986, and they are well established. The other organization is Say Soccer. North Hills Say Soccer is another one. There's actually flyers for both of those organizations right behind me. Again, they've been serving the kids in our area specifically for decades. So the one thing that they did do here, and I did want to mention just for historical purposes, the Shaper Park that's behind the elementary school used to be where the city's tennis courts and baseball diamonds were. So part of, I agree completely to get this stuff in-house, or it was near there. But to get this stuff back in-house, we would just need to figure out facility. Maybe I'm fuzzy on where the baseball diamonds were, but I know that that park is named after a person who did coach baseball in North College Hill for over 40 years. So it was here. At one point in time, we had these courts and these fields, but we would just need to work out facilities, and I'm sure 100% we could bring this back to the city. But the commission was reestablished after COVID, so I just wanted to clear that up.
If we look at the sports that are big at our school, in our school district, we're looking at basketball, football, cheerleading. And as of right now, we don't have those little league organizations or those AAU organizations to feed into our kids. Athletics at our school district do not begin until 7th grade. That means those students who are kindergarten through 6th grade are going to the Gators. They're going to Avondale. They're going other places. But that also means once they're at the age to actually compete in high school, they're leaving the district. My child included, he left.
That's why my children left, because there weren't enough. And so it's one thing just to have like YMC. I'm sorry, I totally. I just feel passionate.
I'll take my meeting back.
I feel passionate about that because, like for example, my son, he plays at St. X and he plays basketball, but I have poured out countless of dollars that I would love to pour back into NCH for an AAU team. The teams, in order to make him competitive to play robust enough at the school that he is at, even when he was at North College Hill, I was spending dollars before that because we were going outside of North College Hill for football. We were going outside of North College Hill for basketball in order to create opportunities for him to be robust enough. We have students who move here who haven't been what we would call homebred NCH kids who overshadow their ability to compete competitively on some of those teams because we don't offer it in-house. So then we either take our kids other places, or then when they get our own kids get high school age, they're not even the ones represented on the team. And I'm not saying that just because you go to the district, but like we have kids that have been here K through, ninth grade. They get to ninth grade, they don't make the basketball team. If they were to just only access what is available here. And it's not a criticism. I just hope to bring some light of my own personal experience so that we can formulate something around doing better so that we can be competitive. North College Hill has some really strong bones athletically and some of our history. Let's continue to leverage having been known or carrying that history with us. I just wanted to just kind of expose that.
Well, thank you. So what I will say to the commission is that the last, say 5 or 6 months, folks have been pointing out some things to me, like where the baseball diamonds were out here in North College Hill. Some folks have been pointing out to me where the soccer field was out here in North College Hill. Some folks have been pointing out to me where some of the organizations that did exist here in North College Hill, and now that they're gone. So what I would like to do is that if we can work together collaboratively to change that. I want to change that. I want that to turn around and we start generating that back into North College Hill. I would like to start seeing our kids play right here at home. I don't want to see them continuously walking the street without anything to do. At least let's figure out a way to start giving them something right here in their own community, in their own backyards, and that way we can get them out of our neighbors' backyards.
Mr. Chair, there was one thing that I wanted to say that Ms. Stewart touched on that I don't think that I executed well in my last comment, and that is whilst I appreciate the ability for kids to participate in, like, say, soccer, and my daughter did say soccer. I love say soccer. But then there is AAU teams, and those competitively are super different. So what I was trying to hone into is YMC league level activities versus AAU. I mean, very early, whether you agree or you disagree, parents are tracking their kids to be athletes at like 2nd and 3rd grade. And if your kid is serious about some of those sports, they need to have opportunities to be able to compete very early and to get access to some of those teams, many neighborhoods. Like, for example, my son played football because that was his initial desire in Fairfield. We were driving 36 minutes Monday through Thursday, every day during football season in order to get him when he was in Little League. Now, ultimately, he didn't choose that path, but I wanted, again, to just bring light on why it is important to have some of our own things, although it may seem like burdensome to some of us who don't have an understanding of why it is that there's a passion for that, because honestly, you got to give kids something to do. High school sports are serious business. It affords many of our children scholarships and the opportunity to, not even just scholarships, to want to go to college. And we need to instill and have more programs accessible, especially in this specific community, to get their horizons more open to things that are beyond high school. And if sports is the gateway to do that, I am for it.
So I'm totally with that. And my biggest thing is that I am very aware that there are AAU teams, programs that would like to come to our area, but they can't participate because we don't even have anything to participate against. No one can come and compete against us because we don't have anything set up for that, and that needs to change. I know I'm correct. You have a dance school, right? You also have a dance team, correct?
Correct.
So you guys compete also, correct?
We don't compete. We're performance-based. But in my opinion, performance-based affords more scholarships than a competition trophy.
Yes, ma'am. But also, and not to cut, I agree, but also, too, we're here with North College Hill. Why don't we have a vineyard for them to compete? This is North College Hill. I mean, she's putting in the effort to teach these girls. How come there's not teams able to come to her vineyard and say, hey, we want to see what we got? Because I'm pretty sure that it is some type of level of competition in dancing, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a clarifying question? Just a quick question. I've lived here for 20 some odd years, so I remember, when all of this stuff was here. Part of the constraint, and I'm not trying to say this is a roadblock, we need to figure out venue. It's one thing to say we want to bring these things here, but the venues, the courts, the diamonds, these things, the city does not own the real estate for that. So we would need to partner with, so my clarifying question is, when you were talking about the venues with other people, do they suggest potential partnerships with people who own these facilities that you want to host these events at?
So right now, we do have a vineyard. It's just ain't a venue. We do have a building. It just has to be repaired. We listen.
Is there a
please allow me to speak. Please allow me to speak. Okay. So we do. We have these. Excuse me. I'm speaking. We do. These things are here in our city. It's called Open Up Our Eyes. And let's take a look at the stuff that we have around here. The city do have property that they're looking at to fix up, because we have a dilapidated building. And if I'm correct, 1500 is not only the city administration building, but on the opposite side of it is recreation. So, we have things around here that we have to take a look at and see what works for North College Hill. That's it. It's not, let's not say this and that. Let's take a look first before we say, hey, there's also other facilities out here that might be interested in allowing us to use their facilities to get us going while we're trying to get this going. We cannot close a blind eye to any ideal out here. I just want everybody to keep an open mind, because there are things here that can be looked at to accommodate where we're trying to get to.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yes. So, again, the reason that I spoke is because I wanted to highlight, I know that I don't represent everyone, but for those of us who have raised children, this is the only school district in place that my children have known, from K all the way up. And so to accommodate what we do not have here, I've had to go out, and I would love to spend those dollars in our city. I think that we have to use this time to leverage the facilities and things that are within our city. For example, there are tennis courts and volleyball courts over at what was formerly known as the Flock. Maybe we can leverage some of those relationships, because we are, as Ms. Clear said, kind of like restarting, some things. I just want to say, hey, we're starting fresh. Let's keep our hearts and minds open. I wanted to give light to some of the issues that I'm sure other parents outside of myself may have, so that, for example, one is if you have really little kids who haven't kind of declared themselves yet in a specific area, you don't know the challenges that they may have when they become 5th and 6th graders or 3rd and 4th graders. My daughter's actually a 5th grader, but then when they become high school. So if your kids are small and you haven't kind of broached that situation, or maybe you didn't have an athletic kid, maybe you had an academic kid. I will tell you that my kids attended a engineering program at the University of Cincinnati, specifically devoted to African American kids, or kids with different ethnic backgrounds. And that is definitely the demographic that we have here, right? And so, again, we had to go outside of the community to get that STEM stuff going. It isn't just athletics. It is also STEM. So, again, the gaming thing that Ms. Clear has tapped into, when she shared that with me, I was super excited about that. What I don't want you to do is close your mind to anything. We need to figure out a pathway forward because we have a large part of our demographics here in North College Hill are children. Miss Myers will tell you she worked with both my kids for reading and math, and they are doing, they're both super academic as well. So, and Miss Alexander has kids that have been in this district. Her daughter is what, ninth grade now?
No, eighth grade.
Eighth grade.
I've had my son, my daughter's
Yep.
21. She,
Yep.
Miss
And
Myers.
so I just hope, I don't have any buy-in as city administrator, but I just hope that you hear that there are a diverse of needs that needs to come through these two collaborations and committees. Whether your kids, I know your kids don't go to the district either, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure that even if you drive away to go to school, maybe you just want to go to soccer up the street. You know what I mean? So,
Mr. Chair.
Hold on, give me a second. Are you finished, Ms. Dustin?
yes, I am.
Okay, so like I said, let me keep with my meeting. I keep letting it get out of control. Mr.
Sorry.
Davis, you got anything?
So I was going to ask, is there any current recreation commission based programming with the schools and like with the school district, and also are there any current after school options that the school district care handles, and also what does the recreation commission do for a budget?
I do not know if the school district offers after-school programming. I imagine that if they did, they would offer it to the students who are enrolled. But was mentioned earlier is there's quite a bit of kids who do not attend North College Hill schools, whether they're homeschooled.
Yes.
I had to do that for a while because my daughter had some disabilities that I had to teach her at home. But those kids also need opportunities. So I want to leverage this building as much as I can too, because this is right in the middle of town. And council needs it once a week on Mondays. Seniors need it twice a week. The rest of the time is fair game. So I'm working on trying to get some of that scheduled in here as well. And the second question you asked was
Just what do y'all do? What do y'all generally do for? What does the recreation commission do for a budget?
Well, the commission, like I said, is an advisory commission. So it advises council, it advises administration. The things that were brought to my attention before, a lot of them did make it into the budget this year that I asked for in terms of an operating budget for the recreation department. But and that was one of the questions I actually wrote, is this, with these programs, who funds the program? If it's on city property, if it's a city, then it's a city program. If it's a school property, if it's a school program, if it's to drive, the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth graders or whatever through the school program for competitive, then that would be a school-managed program. So these are two completely different public entities. So if we're going to work that out, we need to figure out how that funding would work. That's a great question.
So this is the second round of questioning from our panel. We'll start with Mr. Davis. If you got any additional questions, please go ahead. All right. So I would like to know, would you guys be interested in taking over the trunk and treat?
Fall Festival. We do it at Fall Festival.
Yeah, we do.
We do it at Fall Festival.
I think we have a different belief or a view of how they would like to see trunk and treat. So I would like to work with the commission if you guys would like to take it over, and that way we can discuss the vision that they have for the trunk and treat. I believe it used to be in the school.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
and the school people are the ones who brought the trunk or treat to Fall Festival.
Like I said, I don't mind. It's just something that I'm asking that question if you guys will be willing to take over this, the trunk and treat. So this is a question was asked to ask, so I'm asking that. If you guys, need to think about it, and you can send it to, your response to me in an email, if you want to share it tonight, however, but just take a thought, take some time, think about it, and then send me, and then we can discuss it afterwards. I
Mr. Wilson, may I
re-
hold you there for a second?
Excuse me, just give me a second.
I just want to stay on that subject. Sorry.
Just give me a second here. So I do not have any additional questions. I'm going to continue down. Like I said, this is the time for the panel to ask their second questions. So, Ms. Alexander?
I just want to ask, what can we do to assist you all? What do you need from us to either get the ball back rolling? This is just open to make you all more visible. If you want to be more visible, what can we do? Since we're, hand in hand.
I don't know if we can really answer that yet.
So listen.
Talking. I'm going to let them.
So listen. If there's a question that you cannot answer tonight, feel free to write your answer in the email, or email me at vwilson@northcollegehill.org, and let me know if you guys would like to come back to a meeting, and we could sit there and answer some of the questions that didn't get answered tonight. So, like I said, either way, we'll take your time.
That's all. I don't have anything else.
Brianna?
So when we were talking about who funds, is it going to be city or is it going to be school funded? What comes to mind is, we're going to have to get coaches who volunteer. And I know sometimes my kids, they did do soccer with North Hills. And even with that, sometimes it was hard to get coaches. So I just wanted to also keep that in mind. And just to really think about the littles, as you mentioned, the older kids that come, they're going to bring their little kids and just have it diverse for everyone. But definitely, if anybody's watching and you guys want to be volunteer coaches, reach out.
Ms. Zork?
Yeah, so I got a lot since your last go around. So I think, let me start with the trunk and treat. So to clarify where you're going with the whole trunk or treat, so are you saying you don't want it at the fall festival? Because I think Miss Clear kind of organizes that now in conjunction with the fall festival. So are you saying you don't want it in the fall festival?
I believe the trunk and treat used to be separate. I think it was a separate event.
It was at the school.
Yeah, I believe it was a separate event, and I would like to have that event back.
It was a school event. It was sponsored by the student leadership team. So
Yes,
student
ma'am.
council would put on a trunk or treat, and they would put on, they did like a haunted house and all of that in the gym every year.
Okay, is there some way we can reach out to the previous organizers and see?
People that used to do trunk or treat are no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure who's in head of student leadership team anymore, because I'm not based in the high school
Yeah,
anymore.
yes, ma'am.
But I can find out.
Okay, thank you. If you could, give me a follow-up on that, please, I will greatly
that.
appreciate it.
So I guess I'm still confused. Is,
Yeah.
is your focus to not have it associated with the fall festival?
Yes, my focus is to separate it from the Fall Fest.
Okay,
That's correct.
thank you. So let's go back to when we were talking about the tennis courts and baseball. So the tennis courts, at least when I was a kid, the tennis courts were right behind the police station. So I think that's where their parking lot is right now, the police parking lot. And again, school property, not city property. Baseball courts where I think the elementary school is now. Again, school property, not city property. And the other set of baseball fields, and my son played at all these, that's why I know where they all are, was up at Becker. Again, school property, not city property. He did play soccer and baseball back in the whole Pies Park area, but that's Clovernook property, not city property. And we rent part of that, but whatever. I guess where I'm going with this, is I think part of the reason, so my son has grown and got kids so now my grandson plays AAU basketball, which, by the way, they're in Kentucky, Campbell County, Kentucky, and they've been playing right here at Flock. So that whole team comes all the way over here to Flock, which I love because I'm 2 seconds away from, but they all hate it because they're driving from Kentucky to come over here to play in Flock. So, and while he's there, there's AAU basketball there, there's football there, there's volleyball there, there's soccer there. So I guess my point in saying all that is, since this is a brand new startup and we don't really know what the kids' interest is at this point, is that a safe assumption? I don't. So to know if we have enough kids that want to play a sport, maybe we need to see if we can partner with Flock to see if we can get some league rolling before we throw city dollars at something. I don't know.
That's a good idea.
I'm just ballparking here.
So-
I don't know.
That's a good idea.
Um,
Write that down.
Because I think part of why, I have heard from several people that were on the rec commission a million years ago. The reason it fell apart was because there was no kid interest, therefore no adult coaching interest, therefore it just kind of dissolved. And that was, again, 30 years ago. It has nothing to do with anyone in this room.
Right.
And it was just that lack of interest. So if we don't truly know what the kids' interest is, what sport they're interested in, or if they're interested in video games, I think we need to know more where their passion is before we throw dollars at a solution that we don't know where. I think we kind of started at this, is what do the kids want to do?
So-
And I think that's the heart of what we need to find out before we start throwing dollars
So-
at this.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Are you finished?
As finished as I'm going to get for now.
Okay, so so the conversation has been had, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna surprise y'all, and I'm gonna tell you out right now. They want it all. They want to be able to participate in whatever sports that North College Hill offer to them. If we don't offer it, they don't know what sport they want to get into. We gotta offer it. Let's at least offer it. If we offer it, they go out and try it. If they don't like, listen. Do we got a swim team here?
We don't have a pool.
I'm just saying, we got kids that want to swim, but we don't offer it. If we offer it, then guess what? Now you got a line of kids that lined up to come swimming. Because guess what? Now we offer it. We have it. We have to do something. We can't just keep saying, hey, we're not sure if they're going to want to get into it. When it comes to these properties that the city, that the school own, the school has been more than willing to use our league as a feeder team. The AD was said as being a feeder team that a lot of the facilities are, granted to us as usage. So I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, these things can't happen. We just got to start going in that direction, and I would like to do a collaboration with you guys, and let's see if we can't change how North College Hill recreation future is from 25 on.
What is your anticipated timeline for being able to functionally be able to start with equipment, coaches, facilities, and participants? What is your anticipated timeline?
So my goal, as far as it comes to the start of the league, my anticipated timeline will be June. The reason why we want to start in June gives us a lot of chance to get a lot of these things out of the way as far as the just organization of our league. We do have some summer sports programs that we could be offered and allow us to work and get that done. Our first step is just, start going in that direction. So we get in that timeline. We have some other things that's going on. We have some upcoming meetings that's going to be taking place so we can move forward on this ideal. And then we will be setting an additional meeting so that way we could talk with the rec commission more, because like I said, I would like a strong collaboration with the commission. Like it can't
May
be
I be
done by
invited to those
ourselves.
meetings? I'm the recreation director. May I be invited to those meetings as well?
Yes, ma'am. I'll consider it.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I would like to add that the fireworks, I don't know if Cheney left, but there was a, were you supposed to move to a conversation about that? I know you didn't have it on the
No, ma'am.
agenda,
I didn't have that on my agenda at all. So if you have nothing further, and if there's nothing further from my committee, any more questions, concerns? Anyone, any more? So at this time, I did not have that. Well, that's correct. You're right. Any old business?
I do have old business. So I just wanted to mention again that I would like to do the beautification award. And Ms. Clear and I looked, and there weren't any signs available. So I would like to design some and get them printed so that we can start that in the spring so that people can start being recognized for being good neighbors and having beautiful yards. And I also would like to bring back to life the new neighbor award, or not award, letter, so that people can feel welcomed when they move to North College Hill. So I'm just putting that back out there so that we can talk about that, because I know there's going to be a fee involved with maybe printing the yard sign. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware that this is something that I would like to do. Some neighbors would like to volunteer with me and do that. So whatever it is I need to do to get that going, I would like to start.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I can probably grab a sign for you. My neighbor across the street used to win all the time the yard of the month or whatever, and I know she has one because they would put them in their yard, display them for a month, and keep them. So she probably has 10.
But yeah, that would be the goal. It would be nice for people to keep them. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, by it possibly being a fee involved, would that have to go through budget and finance, or how? I'm just asking.
That
I
would
don't
be
know,
a good question for the
or-
city administrator, if Ms. Arias could tell us. Mr. Steen?
That depends on, one, how much it is, and secondly, if it's a council initiative, then you guys need to spend it out of your own budget. If it's a, so I don't know if you want that to come from. You guys have a budget. I mean, you can if
I
it's
didn't know
your
how that
initiative.
would work.
So how would I ask for that to be a vote? Would I just ask
You
for that
kind
to
of bring it up in committee. You talk about it, get the idea developed well. It's not, if it's not over a certain spending threshold, and you kind of all in a consensus agree. Like Christian Hedger, when he was talking about now this was definitely a more pricey amount, but you know, council has done things like, if I'm not mistaken, the paint in the alleys came out of well, at that time I was on council, so I think that came out of our budget. It may not have, I don't know. But then like the digitizing the records, that's definitely a council expense. I don't know how you guys feel, and I encourage you to kind of own some projects. This is council's mark on what we want to present. So if you can agree, and then you give directives, and it can come out. It doesn't have to well, if you guys want to vote on it, you can. There's not a particular price point for council itself. That rests over administration.
Okay. So is that an email that is sent to ask for a vote?
I would hesitate to handle business via email because it gets you guys in trouble of
Right.
responding. So you want to keep a lot of your conversation here. And then maybe like take it across multiple spaces. You could talk about, once you develop it fully, you can then go to budget and finance. If it's a recreational idea, and then you want to go to budget and finance on the money piece, or if it's it just depends on what category it falls in first.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
so Ms. Gaston, I'd recommend to get some kind of price estimate. and then just bring it to a council meeting for a vote. I don't think anybody's gonna have a problem with that.
So I
on
don't have
council.
to get, okay.
Get a, I think, what's it, Sign-Effects, right at the corner of Savannah and Galbraith will probably help you with that.
Across the street from Long John Silver, yeah.
Exactly. Another thing, if you don't mind, I'd like to work with you on that new neighbor letter. I have a lot of, we talked about this several years ago, kicking that off. So I have a lot of information that we already started to kick around.
Okay.
If you want to work on that together.
Consider it done.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Chairperson.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, real quick, I wrote a welcome letter. That was this year, wasn't it?
I remember something.
I remember seeing it.
Cause I hope I wrote that on this. I hope I wrote that on this computer. Cause if I don't have it, I'll forward it to you.
Okay.
Or if one of y'all got it, please forward it to her. Like that'll help you start ahead.
You're always very helpful, Brandon. Thank you.
So I would like to point out, I was up at Mount Healthy, that little coffee shop. And by the door, they have a Mount Healthy magnet that people can put on the refrigerator, and it has their fire number and their, like, all the non-emergency numbers. I think we need to kick around that idea too. So with the letter, we give our new neighbors a magnet that they put on their fridge so they can know how to contact us.
It's a good idea.
Idea.
Will there be anything else in old business?
That's new. Isn't that new?
All right, with nothing being said, I want to move on to any new business. Do we got any new business? All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that being it, I will adjourn this meeting at 7:56.